So guys, this is the bay that I thought was maybe the coolest thing I saw.
Yes, this bay is a lot of fun. In fact, we have gears as well. I'll show you later. But we're powered by Cool Clubs on the custom fitting and custom building side. So our line loft machine, you'll see here, it's got the Cool Clubs logo. Everything's based out of Scottsdale. What's nice is they custom make their loft and line machines. It comes with a digital and analog measurement. We also have a frequency machine here. So what this is doing is measuring cycles per minute. We blend that with the length of the club. That gives us a true frequency of the shaft. So as opposed to looking at standard stiff flex, X flex, R flex, we're looking at a specific frequency number.
Right.
Shaft profiles all change. One manufacturer to the next, you don't have the same baseline stiff flex rating. So this allows us to get a little more specific with how much force is required to bend the shaft.
And interestingly, guys, so I know I'm behind the camera, but this is exactly what we've talked about with fishing rods, right? A loose, stiff rod is nothing like a carrot stick stiff rod. So that's a great point. I've never thought about that, but in shafts, Mitsubishi stuff may be way different than anybody else's stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Furthermore, within that shaft, let's say you get the Ventus Black, it can actually be built anywhere from, let's just call it 7.5 to 8.5. So just because you're getting that shaft doesn't mean you're going to get it built to its standard frequency.
So really? So there's variances. 10 out of a box.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So how it's cured, how it's aligned, how we tip cut it rather,
right,
will influence the actual frequency of the shaft at the end of the day. So
interesting.
What we do is we send our fitting file to Scottsdale. We say, hey, our target frequency for this club is going to be a 7.8, and they build it to 7.8. So it comes out perfect, and they guarantee the performance. So it's truly a unique fitting process and building process on the back end where it's coming out perfect.
And you got a few club heads mixed in there.
We do. So again, it's brand agnostic. So we've got all the major brands across the board. You've got your big five and then a few others. And these would be the irons and some of the driving irons. So here's your new Titleist equipment. This would be an upgraded version of your AP2. This is the T200.
Okay.
And then, of course, beyond that, everybody likes this drawer. These are the drivers. So main brands that we're carrying here would be Callaway, TaylorMade, Cobra, Ping, and Titleist. And within each model, you've got different lofts, you've got different versions of each model. And then beyond that, you've got weight kits that we can start customizing and fine-tuning the specific weight placement. So for example, with this LTD LS, you've got a 10 and a 6 as standard. We could easily flip those and or go anywhere from 2 to 20 grams and start to really fine-tune which weight configuration we have for that player.
And this goes back to trying to get the toe to close, trying to get the toe not to close, all the fun, trying to get the ball in the air, trying to keep the ball lower.
Affecting closure rate, affecting droop even, and also where that player strikes it on the face.
What is droop? I've never heard that term.
Droop would be the shaft actually bending downwards, so easier to demonstrate. So you got lag deflection, that'd be the club head lagging behind the head.
Right.
You have lead deflection, that'd be the club head actually passing the handle. And then you also have droop, which is the shaft drooping downward.
Guys swing hard enough that happens?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, you want the shaft to contribute and kick and bend. The idea is to line all that up at impact.
Okay.
Right? So droop has an influence on lie angle at impact. That's going to have an effect on where we're striking it on the face.
That's why you can't do, I mean, it sounds stupid, but you can't do a lie test just by addressing the ball. You got to swing the club.
It's dynamic.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
How much we're raising the handle, how much the shaft is actually drooping. Now you get a true representation of the dynamic lying.
Okay.
That's one of the cool things that gears measures actually.
So that's something else. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cameras in this bay alone. And we're going to get in this bay. Yep. By the way, so this is the wall that kind of blew my mind. There's got to be 150 shafts up there. Are those all driver shafts? No, there's some shorter ones too.
All these blue grips up here and black grips are driver shafts. You get to the fairway woods over there. Below that, hybrids, long irons, driving irons, and then all of these are the irons. And then on each shaft, you're actually going to see a frequency measurement. So that'd be your 7.0. at 45 inches.
So y'all have tested these internally
These have
before
all
they go to the
these
wall.
have all been tested, labeled, so these come out to these exact frequencies.
Interesting. So this is truly dialing it in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I just wanted to show you this room, and we'll get back here somewhere in the future, but this is a cool space.
This is a really cool space. I'll show you one thing real quick. So this is a compilation. So Michael Neff of Gears, he was able to take all the tour data that he had and blend it into what we call the tour average composite. So this is a combination of your Sergio Garcia, Ricky Fowler, Tony Finau, Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose, etc., Brooks Koepka,
So
DJ.
Live Tour and PGA Tour.
Exactly. We don't discriminate tours here. And so this is your tour average driver swing. And as you can see, we're looking at just a tremendous amount of data over here on the left, all the way into the body numbers. So looking at all the joint angles. We can change views here. We can even look at it from overhead or below. And then we can also change some of the visuals that we're seeing here from, let's just see the bone wire frame, for example. We can look at hand path and X factor. So we can get really, really specific here with, for example, how much the pelvis is shifting from position 1 to position 2 here at club parallel. When that pressure starts to move into the lead side, one thing that we like looking at is where this lead shoulder goes in transition. That's very indicative of where we're sending that club in terms of the path. And then it's nice to be able to see the players that we capture and compare them to some of these tour averages, whether it be LPGA or PGA.
Yeah, because you've got pros coming in.
We do. We've got tour players that we work with. In fact, one of our IGP athletes is here right now. He just went 62 straight holes without making a bogey at his last event.
Holy smokes.
So that was pretty good. Ended up in 3rd place. But this just allows us to get really, really, really specific and detailed with each individual. Certainly we can measure a lot of these pieces through video, but this resonates a little differently when you see it right next to say a swing model that you're trying to recreate.
Well, and so the day I came in and we met initially, you guys can literally put the dots on a body, and just like they do when they make a video game, you can track my movement or somebody else's movement directly
Every joint
against
angle is being measured down to 0.2 millimeters, and literally thousands of data points at every part of the golf swing here. And the data doesn't lie. It's really nice.
Yeah.
We're also seeing impact location. So one really interesting measurement here would be measuring the actual lie angle, effective lie angle at impact.
There's that thing you're talking about with the club bent backwards.
Yeah, so you
Oh, look at that.
yeah, we actually have, you can actually see the droop here. So let me see if I can pull that visual up. That would be the droop grid. All right, so that's actually measuring. This would be a straight line here, all the way up through the handle. You can see how far below that shaft's actually drooping. All right, so you can imagine that has big implications on where we're striking.
And this just goes back to the fact that in most instances, the shaft is probably more important than the head.
Yeah.
I know you may be hesitant to say that as a teacher, but I mean...
I don't know if one's more important than the other, but marrying the two is absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
The head, when it comes to the loft, the CG, that's crucial, and then certainly the balance points and the shaft profile. So this shaft is basically built within 3 sections. You've got the tip, the mid, and then the butt end here. And the flex scale within each section is different. And so that's where our fitter, Jay, he understands those shaft profiles all the way across the wall here. And so based on your patterns, how you create speed, how that club's reacting in space, he's able to really dial in that specific shaft profile for the individual. And then of course with the brand agnostic approach, you're able to basically dial in the equipment, and we see some amazing improvements through the fitting process. The data does not lie, so that's a fun aspect of fitting. And then certainly we explain that the Indian and the arrow both need to be working together. Right. So Indian with a great arrow, Indian needs to know what he's doing, and vice versa. So we like looking at the equipment perspective in terms of basically removing that as a variable, understanding that is fit to you, and then you can go out and practice and trust the equipment.
Man, you got some great toys here.
Isn't it fun?
I love it.
This is awesome. This is good stuff. And then pretty quickly and easily we could pull up a Rory. You've got your Brooks Koepkas, Dustin Johnsons.
So by the way, I noticed there that the average swing speed on the tour is just under 115 with the driver.
That's right. That's right. So the other fascinating aspect, so I'll pull this up for you. So if I go to Rory,